Hello and welcome to An Old Man Watches. And today, because I am a glutton for punishment perhaps, I am delving into the Killjoy franchise once more for the 2010 offering Killjoy 3, Killjoy's Revenge. And this film leaps straight into the demon summoning action when a mysterious man conjures forth Killjoy. This time, however, the demon clown is accompanied by three new sidekicks. Probably inevitable, given the kind of film this is. One of them is a sexy female clown. But Killjoy and co. are very much looking forward to unleashing mayhem. However, they're in for a rude surprise. Their mystery summoner sneaks out on them without specifying a target for vengeance. For reasons that have to do with the plot requiring it, this double cross leaves all four demons trapped in a pocket universe and unable to escape. The film then cuts to four college students house-sitting for a professor of theirs. Gee, I wonder who the mystery man in the opening scene was. The quartet find a bag left on the porch with a strange mirror inside. Inevitably, one of them tampers with the mirror and gets drawn into Killjoy's realm. Mentally, at least. His body remains in the real world, which allows the others to wake him, saving him from the demon's attentions. Now, though, Killjoy has a link to the real world, and the four students soon find they can't leave the house. Fortunately, they seem to have some knowledge of Killjoy and his methods. I guess, like Demon Clowns was an elective they all took at college or something. And that fact, especially once the professor turns up, and he obviously knows a lot about Killjoy, prompts them to try and beard the demon in his lair, which is what constitutes, obviously, the rest of the movie. Now, somehow, and I presume it's because they were ridiculously cheap to make, the first two Killjoy films were successful enough that 8 years later, when production company Full Moon were looking around for franchises to try and revive, they decided to pick Killjoy as one of them, along with Puppet Master and Demonic Toys. Now, I've not seen their Demonic Toys reboot, but I have seen their Puppet Master reboot, and I mean, let's just say that Killjoy is definitely not the worst of the three reboot efforts. Which is not to say it's actually good, of course. However, it is clearly better than the first two Killjoy films. And let's talk about what works, what doesn't in this, which is, I'll be frank, the final Killjoy film that I ever intend to watch. Okay, the first and most obvious thing about this movie is that it seems to be made by people who know what a movie is, whereas the first two felt that they were made by people who'd heard of films but never actually seen one. Again, this is not a good movie, but Killjoy 3 is recognisably constructed in the accepted manner of a visual narrative, rather than being a disjointed bunch of stuff someone just happened to point a camera at. The film doesn't stop halfway through and deliver a lengthy recap of its own first 30 minutes, the 30 minutes you just watched, like the first Killjoy does. Nor does it have characters make decisions like, let's summon a murderous demon to heal us, what could go wrong? This movie also clearly enjoyed a greater budget than the last film, though that would hardly be difficult. Killjoy's hair doesn't look like it's going to fall off at any moment. The people on screen actually appear to be actors, varying quality, but actors. And the sets don't, while they're cheap, don't look like they were dressed, in cast-offs from a garage sale. A lot more money has been spent here. Still not a lot of money in movie terms, but a lot more money. Secondly, the decision to give Killjoy some cohorts is a good one. I mean, even if one of them is fundamentally just a Harley Quinn impersonation, the thing about Killjoy is that the cackling, maniacal demon clown is a pretty one-dimensional antagonist, and his efforts at humour have always been rather more missed than hit. Having him share screen with other interpretations of the theme, sexy clown, evil mime, sad clown, gives this film more diversity and variation than the previous offerings. So yeah, more villainous variety, it's a good thing. And the film also delivers some variety on the victim/hero front as well. The students and their professor are much better defined and engaging and distinctive set of characters than those of the previous two movies. The first film, everyone was basically an unpleasant jerk, except for the obvious people who were going to survive. And in the second film, everybody was practically near anonymous. Like the second movie tried to surprise you by having, what appeared to be the main character get killed, but the characters were so thin it really didn't matter. The highlight in this movie is probably Zilla, who is a big guy character that plays against some of the usual tropes of that role and is quite fun to watch. Let's not get carried away, though. Killjoy 3 is better than Killjoy or Killjoy 2, but it's still not a terribly good film. But I mean, being better than those two turkeys is a very low bar to clear, and this movie doesn't overexert itself in leaping above that point. So yeah, Killjoy 3 has a more or less coherent plot with characters that take actions that are comprehensible for their circumstances, and it even has a couple of narrative surprises where things don't work out quite how you might expect. But I feel like that's really a bare minimum that we should expect from a film. And this movie still has all of the usual flaws you would expect of something from a low-budget producer like Full Moon. The script is frequently stilted, the acting is of varying quality, and the effects are in keeping with the amount of money spent on them. Now, if you're really into this kind of low-end schlock, Killjoy 3 might be worth 80 minutes of your time. Its short runtime certainly helps it in not outstaying its welcome. That is definitely a difference from 1 and 2. It doesn't matter how short 1 and 2 were, they're not worth your time. But let's face it, Stephen King's Pennywise is certainly in no danger of being superseded as the top demonic clown on the block. If you want a genuinely scary, genuinely effective horror movie clown, you're not going to find him here. Frankly, you'll do better with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. But this is easily the best of the 3 Killjoy films that I have seen, and therefore it is the best Killjoy film that I will ever willingly see, because I do not intend to track down any others. Next time, I'm going to go with something a bit different, as you can see. Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, a film that I saw for the first time at the end of a Dusk Till Dawn cinema session. I don't think they do those anymore, but for people who were not born a bajillion years ago, once upon a time, cinemas used to screen a bunch of movies like starting at 7 p.m. and going until like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and you go and you just watch them all back to back. This was the last movie I saw, so I saw it at 3 a.m. deprived of sleep. I found it hysterical. Does it stand up when you watch it fully rested? Well, we'll find out next time. But that is next time. Until then, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.